This is Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox.
Alongside Jim Fox of Wadadley Financial Group, Kevin McAlpin here with you. Some folks, I don't know, might be living under a rock. Maybe you didn't realize there's an election coming. But yeah, it is now right around the corner. And I think the closer and closer we get, it's getting harder and harder to kind of ignore all the ads and the flyers you're getting in the mail and the phone calls. And I don't know about you, those spam texts, man, I'm getting 3 or 4 a day at this point.
It's ridiculous. And so I don't know how I have Michelle's things registered under me, but it's like, hi, Michelle, make sure that you vote for this person for mayor and this person. I'm like, so I can't, again, we talk about me being a country boy. I can't sometimes keep my mouth shut. So I respond back. I'm like, hey, I really appreciate you telling me exactly who I should and shouldn't be voting for. I appreciate you. Thank you. I don't know what we could do without your assistance in the little text world, Pam or whatever her name was. It's nonsense, man. But yes, I am so happy that this nonsense is coming to an end so we can get on with more nonsense problems to deal with, because this is just, man, people fighting and arguing over the stupidest stuff, man. I mean, it's just crazy. Thank God it's almost over. Yeah. That's all I can say.
Couple of weeks to go. It is right around the corner. And as Jim and I mentioned in the previous segment, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, make sure you do go out and get that vote in. Got a couple of weeks left to do that. Well, it is right around the corner. Just a couple of weeks to go until Election Day. And Jim, most folks out there are kind of wondering how the stock market's going to react once the election season has come and gone. Well, Jonathan Fahey is an analyst on Fox Business, and he recently told the folks there, he says history says we're going to be okay.
Regardless of who's in office, here's what we've actually found. Here's what the data shows. The last 4 elections, the stock market was up every single time after the election, regardless of who was in office. So I have a lot of optimism in the American economy. I don't have a lot of faith in the government and the politicians, but I do know the stock market in the U.S. over the long haul is going to go up and to the right. So you want to be a part of that roller coaster and stay in the game.
So Jim, I ask you, I understand the need. You want to stay invested, but for your clients, specifically you're working with, the big decision becomes, well, how much do I want to be in that game? So if folks pick up the phone, they have that similar question. How are you answering that to your clients?
I gotta throw it out at Jonathan real quick. See, that is the opposite of financial weenie. That's important to understand. See, that's the way you talk to people, right? Yeah. Love what he said, spot on. And I gotta tell you, regardless of where you're at, and I have been doing this 26 years, like I still can't believe it. It seems like every election is like, well, if this person wins, I'm pulling all my money out of the market. If this listen, I get it. You don't like fill in the blank. You don't like fill in the blank's policies, whatever it is. But the end result is, if you have the proper plan built, you are going to be okay through market volatility. I can't stress that enough. Why? Because when we build plans, they're built around income that you need to meet your shortfalls. That's the kicker. That's the key. That's what we talk about. So we make sure that no matter if the markets are up or down, someone like Kevin Mack is getting his monthly income that he needs coming through the door just like this. Every month. And it's a beautiful thing. Once you know the money's coming through the door, Kevin, you don't have to freak out because the markets go up or down 15%, right? That's the kicker. The problem is most of us live in a world where people try and sell you on the idea, look how much money you're going to make, 18, 30, 42%. They get all nutsed out on that. You love my sound effects.
I do.
But I got to tell you, it's nonsense. It is nonsense. See, the name of our show is Financial Straight Talk, right? When I sit down, I am so sick and tired of the pie in the sky stories, but I'm also sick and tired of the doom and gloom, right? Yeah. When you look at history and you understand how money works, you understand how the stock markets work, listen, most of the time, the markets will go up. Matter of fact, about 8 out of 10 times, the markets are heading on their way up. Sometimes they go down. It's just the reality of the stock market. It goes up and it goes down. But the funny thing about the stock market is it always seems to find a way to go much higher after it goes down again. So if we go and hide from the market, and when CDs were 5 and 6%, I get it. That was a great argument, great place to go hang out. But too many people are being influenced by these knuckleheads that are running around out there, and they drive me crazy. Yeah, well, this billionaire, well, if she wins, I'm pulling all my... No, you're not. No, stop saying that nonsense on the air. There is not one financial advisor who's going to say, yeah, Billy, pull your $8 billion out. It's nonsense, right? So let's have a plan that makes sense. For those of you that are young, here's what you should be thinking. I want the markets to go down. That's right. I want the markets to go down. Why? Because every month that my money goes into my IRAs or my 401ks, I'm getting all those great stocks on sale. The problem is for most of us that are nearing or in retirement, see, I'm 50, almost 52, so I'm getting closer and closer to that age. I got to think about this stuff. We want a little bit more stability, right? Because we are pulling our money out potentially in 15 years or 20 years. So we don't want that volatility. So the stock market matters where you're at in this journey. Young people have time on their side. Old people don't have as much time on their side, so we can't deal with the volatility. So how do we fix this? How do we make this work? Very simply put, we put together a plan that takes care of your immediate needs first, which is your income. The clients that come through my door know that we have income taken care of for the next 12, 24, 36, and for some really conservative people, 5 years worth of income set aside. We already know where the money is going to come from, which gives us permission to enjoy the volatility. That's right. I said enjoy the volatility because guess what? They go down, but they come back up, and they typically come back up way higher. That's the beauty to this, right? We want to make sure that they understand how their money is supposed to work. Listen, I'm not going to get all biblical with you, but there's the story of the talons, right? You're supposed to take your money and you're supposed to have it grow, right? You want your money to grow for you. You don't go bury it in the backyard and hide it, but you also don't go spend it on Ferraris, right? This is about making your money grow, becoming a wise steward of your money. You can't do that making emotional decisions. Instead, you need to have a solid game plan. So this election is right around the corner. We can see it. We can smell it. And I hate to break it for half of you, your person isn't going to win. What you do, people hate me sometimes, Kevin, and I love it. What you do when your person doesn't win makes all the difference to you because your person who didn't win isn't going to stroke you a check in 15 years for retirement. So what I want you to do is be logical, be non-emotional, be methodical. And if you can't do those things, pick up the phone and talk to the crazy dude yelling at you right now so you can have a game plan to handle the volatility in the market. But what you don't want to do is have a knee-jerk reaction and sell your stuff. Don't do it. Relax. We are here to help you. The name of our show is not sell you an annuity. The name of our show is not buy a mutual fund. The name of our show is not get that great ETF. The name of our show is Financial Straight Talk. We want to be that voice of reason. We want to be the people that come to you and tell you the way you need to hear it. You don't always like it, but for God's sakes, you need to hear it this way. Don't make emotional decisions. Regardless of if your guy wins or loses, or if your girl wins or loses, pick up the phone. Give us a call. Let us help you navigate these waters. And the only thing you have to do is dial in. That's it. We will do the rest. We'll help you through this, and we won't try to sell you anything along the way.
So, Jim Fox, let me ask you this, because I have learned, this is our second show working together. And last week, I learned a whole new set of terms. Now, if Jonathan Fahey is the opposite of a financial weenie, what does that What is there a term for that, or is that something we're going to have to come up with?
Give me time, and I mean, we used to call me the financial straight talker, right? That was kind of our little nickname. I had a bunch of names, but that was one of them. But I will come up with the inverse of financial weenie. I will come up with that. Give me time.
We'll give you a little homework assignment. Maybe we'll get back to that coming up on next week's show. But again, you don't want to try to navigate these waters on your own. That's why Jim Fox, his team at Wadadley Financial, are here for you at getfst.com. Jim, I have been fortunate enough to have only a couple of real, I'm using air quotes, real jobs throughout the course of my 42 years on this planet. I have a 401k. I know a lot of our listeners out there have a 401k. But the question I have is, how often does your employer hold a seminar with a representative to answer questions about the plan? Well, for me, my answer is never. That's why some folks are going to turn to a financial advisor looking for help, like Jim Fox. And even while they're still working and they're still putting money into the plan, Jim, I ask you, how often are you asked to help, and what advantages can you provide our listeners and, more importantly, your clients moving forward?
Well, let me tell you a quick story. got out of the Marine Corps, got a job at Wusthof Hospital where my mom was, worked at forever and a day. And we had a 403B, and every other month, the guy would be down in the cafeteria to answer questions. Okay, this guy, looking back on it, this guy's a bozo. He never could answer any questions right? Then we switched over from a 403B to a 401k, and then they started coming in monthly. And what I realized was this wasn't doing us any good. They were there to help you put more money in, maybe take out a loan, that kind of nonsense. They didn't really teach you anything. So the 401k, although, and my feelings, we talked about it last week, I'm not a huge fan of how the 401k came about. But the end result is the 401k is still the primary way that most Americans accumulate wealth, right? It's just the reality. It's out of sight, out of mind. That's the reason why. So whenever somebody is leaving a job or they're retiring, whatever it may be, they come through this door. It's always the same answer. I have no idea, man. I just put my money in that thing and it grew. Hopefully I did the right. That is not the idea of doing this. Okay. It's not what we want to do. We don't want to just forget about it. This isn't a Ronco rotisserie device that you set it and forget it. Right. So we want to make sure that we understand the investment options. So your 401k does a horrible job. A lot of employer sponsored plans do a horrible job at educating and working with and letting the investors understand how and why things work. I think I asked you last week how much your fees were in your 401ks, and you're like, there's fees in that thing? I had no idea, right?
Right.
This is the reality of most Americans. Yes, we have that engineer with that spreadsheet. Yeah, the one, who I'm talking to, that guy right there who has a spreadsheet for everything. Yes, you probably know that. But for every one of you, there's 10,000 of us that don't pay attention to that stuff. We want you to understand how your money works. You spend a lifetime saving. You spend a lifetime sacrificing. You're trying to do all the right things, but you don't have the validation that you're in there. Yes, the accounts go up. That's a great feeling. But what happens if your accounts, instead of going up 8%, could have went up 12%? Think about that. Those things happen all the time. So one of the things we do in this office is when you come through the door is we want to make sure that we're looking at your 401k. I can't manage your 401k if you're still working, but what we can do is make sure that we have the proper yin and yang relationship, the balance between your 401k and your other investments. See, that is something most people miss. I am able to make sure that your house, your portfolio as a whole is properly balanced and navigating through these waters as we get nearer and nearer to retirement. Now, the only thing I ask is once we get to retirement, Kevin, guess what I want you to do? Let's get out of that 401k if it makes sense and it's lower cost and better investment options and all the other stuff that it normally always is. We'll go ahead and take over. We'll manage that because we understand your needs. The problem is, think about this. I'll do a baseball analogy. I've never picked up a bat in my life, let's pretend. Never been inside of a batting cage, right? Never once. Kevin, are you going to walk me into that? And I forgot what they called it. There was that one-arm machine that would swing through and arc that fastball at you, right? And I've spent a lot of time at spring training with my friend who worked there. Would you ever, if I've never in my life held a bat in a batter's box, go up against that machine throwing 100-mile-an-hour fastballs ever?
I would probably steer you away from that one. Yeah.
And do you one better. Would you make sure that I at least had a helmet on if I did?
I would make sure it's a good helmet too, like a real padded helmet.
So many people are stepping in that batter's box with that 100-mile-an-hour fastball that's never once swung at a ball before. And that is retirement. That's the 401k, the 403bs. I want you to know, I'm not saying that the world's against you. I'm just saying that if you don't understand the vehicles in which you invest your money in, the likelihood of you making the right decisions becomes slim to none. That's what we do each and every day. So if you have a 401k, you have a 403b, a TSP, whatever it is, regardless of if you're still working or not, we're here to help you understand how they work. And if there are better options, we're going to show them to you. And if you have them and we can't maybe move some of that stuff around, we will make sure that's properly balanced around your portfolio and your investment objectives. Guys, we do this each and every day. Stop standing in that batter's box without a helmet on with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball coming down the pipe, because guess what? You do that wrong, you get jacked up really quick. That is not what we want to happen to you in retirement.
Jim Fox, I will give you the final word. The floor is yours, sir.
Well, Kevin, we got 2 shows in. Congratulations again. Love having you back here on the Space Coast. And now you're not a baseball weenie. Now you get to be a finance weenie with me. So welcome back. But guys, every week, Kevin and I want you to know that you have tons of options when it comes to getting financial information. And we know that you choosing us is such a huge honor for us. So we appreciate it. We want you to know, pick up that phone, give us a call. It's never about selling you products. It's about helping you make better decisions. So we're here for you. Don't hesitate. Pick up that phone, give us a call. But on behalf of myself and Mr. Kevin Mack, we want to thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on Financial Straight Talk.
Thanks for listening to Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox. To learn more, visit getfst.com.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Wadadley Financial Group. Wadadley Financial Group is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Wadadley Financial Group are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Wadadley Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any government agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Wadadley Financial Group.